Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedlies, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcast. Our guest today is Jo Ann Gramlich. She is a speech pathologist, and she's the author of Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. Before we invite Jo Ann in, we want to let you know that this episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is brought to you by our friends at Vooks. VOOKS.com, Vooks.com. We love Vooks. Vooks combines the love, trust, and safety of children's books with the convenience of online streaming for a whole new way to experience stories with our growing library of animated storybooks that both kids and parents will love. Now, by adding movement, sound, and narration to existing books, Vooks brings stories to life, encouraging the love of reading while promoting literacy, imagination, and focus for children ages 2 to 8 years old. With Vooks, children can learn, laugh, and let their imagination soar, while parents can feel good about letting their little ones enjoy quality, guilt-free screen time. Right now, Vooks is offering a free 1-year subscription to every single teacher and homeschooling parent. We also have free resources to go along with some of our most beloved titles. To learn more, visit Vooks.com. That's VOOKS.com. Vooks.com. We are also delighted to be able to let you know that this episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is sponsored by the last surviving dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus, written by Stephen Joseph and playfully illustrated by Andy Case. This book tells the story of how the dinosaurs became extinct. And it's not that life-ending meteor shower thing the paleontologists often cite. The Tyrannosaurus is so cranky, she makes all the other bigger and meaner dinosaurs disappear. That is, until she comes across the only dinosaur who is immune to her incessant complaining, the Tyrannosaurus. These two dinosaurs evolve into humans, and that's where cranky people come from. Throughout the illustrated book, family members and dinosaurs humorously battle to have the best sauruses. And that's a Yiddish word for big, really big, really big problems. And now these problems include warts, alligator attacks, brain tumors. Poor cousin Dottie grew an entire forest on her feet. Oi! And the best part of this very funny book is that it's not just for cranky kids. As the storyteller says in the end, even mommies and daddies can be crankosauruses and kvetchosauruses sometimes. The last surviving dinosaur reminds readers to be mindful of when and how often they complain, a lesson from which all readers, young and old, can benefit. The last surviving dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus, is available online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other sites where books are sold. Joining us on the line right now from the beautiful city of Buffalo in New York. Our guest is a speech pathologist. She is also the author of a wonderful new book called Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. Please welcome to the show, Jo Ann Gramlich. Jo Ann, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm pretty wonderful. You're very welcome. We're happy to have you on here and excited to learn all about Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Sure. It's basically a book that I wrote to help enhance children's language skills from that birth to 5 population. Mm-hmm. It includes a lot of fun, interactive activities from birth to 5. It's set up in 3 chapters: infant, toddler, and preschool activities that include developmentally appropriate games. It's set up like a recipe book in the sense that it just pretty much tells you what you need, what you have to do, how to elicit language and communication with your child. It includes dialogue within the activities that you're going to be looking for when you're playing the games with your little ones. It includes strategies and techniques on how to elicit the language, and then it also has a developmental milestone chart that allows parents to have an understanding of, the important milestones that the children will reach between that birth and 5-year period. And it's definitely a guide. Each kid develops language individually at a different rate, and they have their individual differences. But it's very helpful because so many parents are always asking me, well, what should my child be doing at 2 years? What should they be doing at 3 years? And it's easier for them to understand. So it's a very user-friendly book. And everybody, that I've encountered for the last couple of years that it's been published, everybody enjoys the format because, like you said, just like a recipe, it just tells you what you need, what you have to do, how to do it. It's nothing difficult at all to understand. And the premise behind it also is the fact that when I did the research for the book, a lot of the activity books out on the market are very in-depth with 300 to 500 activities. And my book is simplified, like I said, to infant, toddler, and preschool activities. You can carry, a mom or a dad can carry, or a caregiver can carry it in a diaper bag when they're on the go, etc. But the point is, it's not overwhelming. So when I did the research, I saw a lot of the activity books were so heavy and with the activities. And if Johnny were standing here and I'm looking for the perfect activity, I know he'd be long gone because little kids are bumblebees and they want to work now. And that's why my book enables you to quickly zone in on an activity and find one that's suited perfectly for the little ones. And it's also geared to be used during daily routines within the home. So a lot of the hands-on objects or any type of toy are basic toys and objects that you'll find within your home. A lot of the activities, like I said, are geared towards the daily routines because a lot of the learning takes place during routines, or the opportunities are available during the routines to talk. So
there's a lot there, but one of the things I wanted to touch on really quickly, because you just kind of brushed over it, and it's probably because but it's important. You mentioned that this is great for moms and dads, and one of the things I wanted to make sure it was to check with you on is the title of the book, Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. That you're not like giving dads a pass. Dads need to be a part of this too, right?
Oh yeah, this book it's definitely universal for anybody who interacts with children. So you have your mommies, your daddies, your educators, teachers, siblings, caregivers. It's universal for everybody. So no, it's no free pass for dad. So, but yeah, it's universal. So
one of the things I like as you're describing the book is basically you're saying that language development, it happens during play. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to go and become a speech pathologist to help our kids develop language. It happens when we spend time with our kids, when we play with them, when we're reading to them, when we're talking to them about what we're cooking, and they're looking at us as we're preparing food, and we're finding ways to let them help us prepare food. Those interactions are how kids develop language, and it sounds like this is a great guide that can just help parents be more aware of what they're doing while they're doing those everyday activities.
Right. It's everything that we are doing. It's just communicating with them about what you're doing. So for example, like you said talking about mealtime. Okay, so there's a lot of colorful language right there. You simply, when you're at the dinner table, not only you're going to want your child to request for some food, ask for what they want, use the vocabulary, but you can use there's a lot of descriptive words to talk about even after the meal. What color were your vegetables in your salad? What did you eat? What do you remember? What do you recall? What color did I eat? What was on my plate? Just so many things you can talk about that I think people forget how easy it is to stimulate the language during these simple routines. Yeah. Getting dressed, mealtime, or dress time, mealtime, bath time, snack time, playtime, story time. There's so many things you can do to engage your child and get them talking, playing, and reading.
I think another thing that we forget is that your child is learning, brand new. They're just learning these things, and it takes practice. So if on Monday your child learns the word orange, they need to use that so they can be able to remember it on Thursday. I just over the weekend I had went skating with my niece, who came to Boston and learned how to skate for the first time at 15 years old, and she went from beginner to a really good skater in a year.
Wow.
But now, yes, I know, it's amazing. But we went out, and it was the first time, because of her busy high school schedule, this past weekend was the first time she's been able to skate in a few months. And it was amazing how much she had forgotten. So, so if a teenager can forget that quickly, imagine a child who is just using words for the first time, how quickly they can forget things. So it is important to, kind of repeat those words over and over.
Exactly. I was just going to say the same thing. It's all about repetition and rote. Just like for me, when I'm reading a book, I'm highlighting for information myself because I can't remember everything. So it's a strategy. So there's different strategies. You have your visual cues, your verbal cues, your prompting, sentence starters, like you said, repetition, imitating, chunking information, talking at a slow rate, all these different strategies to help these kids remember, because we're only capable of remembering so much. Mm-hmm. But like you said, with a child that's just developing language, it is all about that repetition and imitating and modeling.
Yeah,
this is very important. Yep.
Really, yeah, really, really important. Now, I'm curious. I had a speech impediment. I still have a speech impediment, although I do it a little bit better. But when
I don't hear it.
Oh, well, good. It just if I get tired and I have to use words with F in it, you'll hear it pretty clearly. But I had thankfully with the help of a speech therapist, I was able to learn some strategies that have really helped me and be able to communicate, although sometimes not as eloquently as I'd like. What's the difference between a speech therapist and a speech pathologist?
Well, I am a licensed speech pathologist, but I'm in the school setting. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the labels are speech teacher or speech therapist.
Okay.
But a speech pathologist is able to evaluate and diagnose and treat their clients. Mm-hmm. So I do a little bit of both, but like I said, in the setting that I'm at, we're always referred to as the speech therapist or the speech teacher because it's an educational setting. So, but like I said, the biggest part between the speech pathologist and the speech therapist and the speech teacher is that evaluating aspect of the job. So, and when I first started in Buffalo, in the Buffalo School District, we did do a lot of evaluations, but regulations have changed where I don't do a lot of the evaluations anymore. But with my after-school job, I also work for ECMC in Erie County, and I work with children that are enrolled in early intervention and preschool programs. Mm-hmm. And there I can evaluate and diagnose and treat if need be, especially when you're terminating the kids from speech therapy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What inspired you to get into speech?
So I did not go to college right away. I worked in business offices downtown a long time ago, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school. So what was happening at the time was my brothers and sisters were having kids, and based on my experiences of interacting with them, I realized that I was able to really I could easily develop a fun and loving relationship with them. I was in tune to them. It was a nice creative outlet for me. So, and then at the same time, while they're, I'm having sleepovers and taking them out in the community all the time, doing fun things we do with kids, all that kind of stuff. I was becoming frustrated within the business office. I was a secretary, in different offices, and the theme was, well, where are you working now? Because I would end up leaving one, going to another one, and I finally realized, well, this is definitely not for me, and I decided to pursue a teaching career. And I was thinking about a classical teacher in the classroom, but I came across speech therapy, and it was so diversified. It allowed you to, get technically trained, have a technical training along with, creative aspects of the job. Mm-hmm. So that's how I landed in this field. So it was very exciting.
Very, very cool. And I imagine you've worked with kids all over the state of New York. What does it mean to you knowing that you've helped kids, thousands of kids over your career?
Well, it's definitely rewarding in the sense that I get to impact their lives directly. I'm able to develop special relationships with the children and the parents, and it's definitely a great feeling knowing that I get to impact their lives in a positive way. I mean, when you're working with these children and they come in with basically by 2 years, they generally have 50 to 200 words in expressive vocabulary. And generally when I see the little ones, they come in with, 1 and 2 words. So it's very rewarding to see once I've worked with these kids. I mean, I can work with them, say, starting at age 2 till age 5. So I'm with the family for almost 3 years. So I see that progress from basically the beginning stages to the point where they're finally communicating in sentences and having conversation with me. So it's very exciting, rewarding. Also knowing that I'm helping the children, helping them to get their own voice to be able to communicate. It's very rewarding. It's definitely a positive experience. So,
one of the things you touched on early on was the idea that, there are developmental language milestones for infants, toddlers, and kids, but there's no hard and fast rule that kids learn at different paces. And I like that you're mentioning that because I know there are a lot of parents out there who can kind of freak out and say, oh, my kid's 18 months and they're supposed to be doing this, or they're 7 months and they're supposed to be doing this and they're not doing this, and oh my goodness. And in my family, when my kids were born, my son came out of the womb talking, and he was just nothing. Why use 5 words when I can use 50? And my daughter came along a couple years later and didn't talk. She didn't have to talk because her brother spoke for her.
Yes, that happens.
Yes. So, we're a little bit concerned. It's like, wow, she's not talking as much as my son. We realized later on that no one talked as much as my son did. But it was, when we brought it to our pediatrician, he was able to kind of put our minds at ease that that kids develop differently.
Right.
And the fact that your son is talking for your daughter probably is slowing her down. But what are some of the key developmental milestones that we should be looking for, that we, remember that kids hit them differently, but what are some of the most important ones we should think about?
Well, basically when that birth to 5 months, you're looking to stimulate your baby's senses through their eye gaze. In my book, I have a game called Rattle Time. You're simply taking calming objects like soft bells, rattles, or a cup and a spoon, and placing it in front of their eyes, maybe 6 to 8 inches above their face, and looking for them to track the object. And then also they're also able to hear the sound. So you're looking to take the item a little bit further away and see if they turn their head to the sound source. Mm-hmm. They're imitating your smiles and your expressions, and you're also looking to see if they're able to, vocalize their pleasure and displeasure sounds. So, crying, they're hungry, those type of things. Then you're getting to about 6 months to 12 months. You're looking for babbling. You want to make sure your child is beginning to string sounds together, like our consonants and vowels, or consonant vowels and consonants. They're also, what else are they doing? They're using gestures and actions to communicate. And then also you're looking to see that they're beginning to imitate your sounds and repeating sounds. Mm-hmm. Then once you get to 12 months, that 1 year mark, that's a big thing because you're looking to see if your child is producing at least 1 or 2 words. Like, for example, the first words would include hi, bye-bye, cat, dog, light, just simple little words. Mm-hmm. And then they're also, at that 1 year mark, they're also identifying simple body parts, head, hands, nose, type things like that. They're following simple directions. And then they're also able to follow the directions if you give gestures. Like, you're going to want to point mm-hmm. to something so they know what to do, the visual and verbal cues. And then they're also looking at objects and pictures of family members, and then they're trying to imitate simple words. That's a big point around the 12-month mark, the 1 year, where now they're going to start imitating lots and lots of words that they hear. And they're not necessarily going to use true words right away. There's going to be a lot of word approximations first, along with true words. Mm-hmm. So, and then when you get to 18 to 20 months, they're expanding with their vocabulary. They have 10 to 20 words. They're able to imitate you finding your body parts, which allows them to find their body parts and name them a little bit. They're imitating animal sounds. They're understanding verbs such as eat and sleep, play. And then now if you remember, I said 10 to 20 words at the 18 months. Once you get to 24 months, at 2 year mark, that's an important mark because that's basically, they jumped from that 10 to 20 words to 50 to 300 words at that 2 year mark. So it's a red flag, and that's basically when if you're noticing that your child is not talking, at that point, that's when, and it can be a little bit earlier. You can sense it a little bit earlier. It's up to each parent, but 2 years is a red flag because you want to take them to the pediatrician and possibly get referred for a speech and language evaluation. Mm-hmm. So then they would determine if your child your daughter or son would need speech therapy, and that's when my role will come in. I would take on a case to help the kids increase their vocabulary. But if they're continuing on, they're going to have that 50 to 200 word vocabulary. They're also going to be speaking in 2 to 3 word phrases and answering simple questions, reading stories, attending well. And then around 3 to 4 years, their language skills are moving forward, and they might, a lot of kids are saying their first and last names. They're reciting nursery rhymes and finger play songs. They're understanding 1,000 words, and their vocabulary, expressive vocabulary, is 900 to 1,500 words. So again, these are big jumps. Mm-hmm. So again, the children need to be exposed to a language-rich environment to be able to master, these skills.
Right. Yeah. And what I love about this information that you're sharing here with us, and also the information you're sharing in Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy, is that you're giving things for parents to be aware of so that they can bring it to the attention of the pediatrician. But it's not, it's much different, like kind of being aware of things, making some notes, going to the pediatrician with questions, as opposed to being in the pediatrician's office for the 10 or 15 minute appointment, and they're kind of just coming at you with all these kind of questions, and now you have to think back, what's my kid doing? Where are they? Mm-hmm. And that can be very, very stressful and not as helpful as it can be when you go in there prepared with this kind of information.
Right. Yeah. So, it is difficult because sometimes I've had situations with my after-school job where parents have gone in a little bit earlier than 2 years of age, and they've been denied the service. So then the parent is concerned, that next year the child hasn't moved forward, and then they go back again for a second visit, and then the child does qualify for speech therapy. So there's all kinds of different situations, but it's really important that parents understand that the services are out there. I work in the school system, and unfortunately sometimes the kids come in at age 5 and their skill base is not where they should be. They're pretty far behind because they haven't had the opportunity for speech therapy. So that's the great thing, that we can help these kids, but it is early intervention in preschool. These early intervention and the preschool programs are out there. Like it says, it's early intervention. Let's get them ready for school. Because once they're in kindergarten, they're just expected to do so much more. And if the kids are ready, then they can move forward with their reading skills and reading, math, all the important academics that they need to engage in and to help them, have school success. So when you have some children who unfortunately haven't even been in a school setting and then have that speech therapy need, it's just tough. So if parents can become more aware of what they can do, that's why my book is so helpful, because it's really, all the activities are very simple and they're very easy to follow. And I know when I go out in the community, people, when they're looking at the book, they're pretty much saying, wow, I forgot about this and I forgot about this, how easy this is to do. That's what it's all about. It's taking neuroscience studies about brain development and turning it into an easy message that parents and caregivers can understand. And that's simply put, talk, play, and read with your child every day.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's the reverse of that complex brain study to such an easy message, right? Talking, playing, and reading. So, and we all can do that.
Absolutely. Not only mommies, but daddies, grandparents, siblings, uncles, everyone. Well,
yes.
Jo Ann, how can folks connect with you online?
Well, I do have a website, talkplayandread.com. I am also on Twitter. I don't know my Twitter by heart. I should know it by heart. I think it's on.
I have it as at Jo Ann Gramlich.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, I have here too. Okay, at Jo Ann Gramlich. And then I also am on Instagram at Jo Ann Gramlich. And then Facebook, it's Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. Excellent. So, yeah, and then, of course, my personal email. Can I give out my personal email? Am I allowed? I wasn't sure.
Feel free.
Oh, sure. Okay, because it's on they can connect with me also. There is a way to connect on my website at talkplayandread.com, but my personal email is it's Jojo, Jojo, gr1020@yahoo.com. And I'm always willing to help out. That's why I'm here. Always willing to help.
That's great. Well, this has been such a fascinating conversation. We've been talking with the author of Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. Jo Ann Gramlich is the author. Jo Ann, thank you so very much for sharing this valuable information with us.
Oh, you're welcome. And I just want to say one last thing. I am actually working on a book called Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Daddy.
Excellent.
Coming soon.
Excellent. Well, we'll have you back to talk about that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
Please be sure to join us for the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Amanda Lynch. She is the author of Breathe, Baby Breathe. Hey, if you're the author of a fantastic children's book, you want to check out our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. We have assembled a panel of evaluators, teachers, kids, and parents. And if they believe that your book is worthy of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars, it becomes a Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. And with that status comes a number of fantastic tools that will help folks know that your book is worthy of their attention. Check it out today at our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Author Services button at the top of the page. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful. Of course, we want to thank our guest, Jo Ann Gramlich. Be sure to check out Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mommy. Also want to thank our sponsors, Vooks.com, VOOKS.com, Vooks.com. I love the site. You have to check it out. Also want to thank the last surviving dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus, by our friend Stephen Joseph. I want to thank my amazing producer, Fatima Khan, for all that she does for me. Be sure to check out her blog at readingwithyourkids.com. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for spreading the word about the show. But most of all, thank you so very, very much for making the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.